Hello, today we're going to be looking at my ultra lightweight cooking setup that I use when I go camping, bikepacking, hiking, and it's pretty small, it's pretty light, and it sort of has everything that I need all in one kind of pot. So I'm going to be taking you through what I take, the weight of it, the cost of it, and also the kind of meals I cook with it and how I use it. So as you can see, I've got my pot here, and my pot that I use is the Alpkit 900mm titanium mug, and it's pretty convenient. I'd kind of say it's kind of a mix between a mug and a cooking pot, and I kind of use it for everything, which is really handy. And as you can see, I've got all my cooking equipment stuffed inside, so it means that you can put this in your bag and you know that everything that you need for cooking will be in it. And I think for me, having something which is 900mm is actually sort of the perfect size. It means that I can cook with it and then also eat straight out of it as well. And so for one person, it's kind of the perfect size. Obviously, if there's two of you or more, then you might need sort of 2 pots maybe. And obviously it depends on what you're cooking. And this is sort of quite a basic cooking setup, I'd say. I'll go on at the end, I'll cover what I cook with it. Yeah, you can't cook a really elaborate meal with lots of different ingredients, but normally bikepacking you don't need to. And this is pretty light as well because it's titanium. I think it's about 120 grams, so it's pretty good for its size. And then it costs around £50 as well, so getting titanium is a little bit more expensive than other options, but I think it's definitely lighter and definitely worth it in the long run as well. So it's probably the most expensive item here, but I think it's significantly lighter than other options, so I definitely recommend it. So then inside I've got my gas, which is really important. This is pretty small, but it'll last, I don't know, probably last at least a week, I'd say, cooking in the evenings and maybe a couple of drinks as well. Obviously it depends quite a lot on the weather, how windy it is, and also what kind of things you're cooking with it, how long you're going to be using it each night. But yeah, this is a pretty good size for me. And this gas canister is 211 grams, so it's a pretty small one. Obviously you can get larger ones as well. If you want to fit it in here, just make sure you measure the circumference of the mug and make sure it fits in. Otherwise it's quite annoying if it doesn't fit in, because then you have to fill this with something else. It's just easy to keep similar items together. And these really depend in price, and some of them are better for more all-season weather. And so I've forgotten how much this was, probably in the range of about £10 to £20 depending on where you get it from, and obviously the quality. So yeah, you sort of have to look around online, but I'll leave a couple of links down below to this one. If you enjoy these videos and find them useful, please support the channel by liking and subscribing, and also check out my range of hand-printed bikepacking and adventure t-shirts. They're all hand-printed by me on organic cotton t-shirts, and yeah, I've got a range of bikepacking themes and adventure themes, so make sure you check them out, link down below. And then next we've got the stove, and as you can see, it's pretty minuscule. This is a BRS one. You can get them sort of from Amazon, or also Alpkit do their own ones, other similar ones, and it's pretty cute. This is probably one of my favourite little bikepacking items that I have with me, just because it's so small and it's so powerful as well. So even though it looks pretty small, it still packs a punch really, and it will boil water pretty quickly. And so for me it's perfect, and you can adjust it a fair amount as well. And then a couple of other items. I carry a spork. I think this is from Alpkit as well, and yeah, super lightweight, and it's sort of multi-purpose. You've got a spoon and a fork and a knife edge as well. So yeah, this is my normal go-to utensil, and it sort of does everything you need, and it's pretty light, it's pretty cheap as well, and just nice to have really. And then the last item, which I don't normally take with me, but it's something that you can do, and sometimes if I'm going on a trip maybe with more people that we're sort of sharing pots and stuff, then I might take this. This is a collapsible bowl, and it collapses quite nicely, so it's quite nice and thin, so it means it fits in your bag quite easily, and it's not too difficult to pack around, because sometimes, like, if it is a bowl shape, that's actually quite hard to fit in your bag, and it just makes packing a little bit more tricky. So it's nice and collapsible. Again, I think I got this from either Output or Gear Outdoors. So this is something which I don't normally take with me, just because I normally cook and then eat straight out of my mug. But if I'm with more people, then I probably will take one of these as well. So yeah, I think that's about everything that I'd take in terms of equipment. And then onto what I cook and what I eat. Normally quite basic meals. These are sort of generally for like weekend bikepacking trips, or maybe 5 or 6 days. So I normally cook something quite basic. So generally it's probably pasta, and so normally it might be something like noodles. I find noodles are much quicker to cook than pasta, so that's normally my go-to option. And normally in packets there's normally about 2 days worth of noodles, so that's quite handy. And then just to adds a bit more flavour, I quite like the sun-dried tomato concentrated pastes. I think I first found them in Co-op, but for a while I haven't been able to see them in any supermarket, so I just bought a big pack of like 20 from Amazon, so I'll leave a link down below. But this I find is just like quite a nice concentrated sun-dried tomato paste that you can easily add to something like noodles, and it adds lots of flavour, and it's really simple to do. So that's generally what I do if it's just a weekend bikepacking trip. Other things, you can always buy these sort of like pre-cooked sachets from most supermarkets. So this is curried chickpeas. So you could actually have those raw. So you could always just use your pan and stove just to warm them up slightly. Or there's quite a few other options sort of similar to these. But I generally find these things a bit more cheaper and just nicer than buying specific sort of dehydrated meals or anything. Obviously it depends what you prefer and your budget and everything like that, but these are quite simple as well. So yeah, I never really cook a whole like 5-star meal, but yeah, normally pasta or something like that, or also like things like bulgur or couscous. They're super quick to cook, and also quite cheap and easy to carry as well, so they're another good option. And then also just having a nice mug of coffee or tea or hot chocolate. I normally have hot chocolate. That's always quite nice in the evenings after you've cooked dinner. And this is, it's going to be a big mug of hot chocolate, but it's nice and warm, and something to have in the evening. So you can always, use this for quite a lot of things. So I think all in all, that's about 360 grams for the mug, for the stove, and for the gas. Which I think you could get lighter, but that's pretty. I find that's kind of the lightest setup that I found. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know how this compares to what you use. I think I'd struggle to get anything less than 900 ml. Just you need enough water when you're cooking the pasta and things. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this setup. But just a final tip to end on. So for breakfast, I don't normally cook anything for breakfast, but I do overnight oats, and I find that's really handy because you can just fill up your bowl or your mug as you're going to sleep. I normally do a 1-to-1 ratio, so the same amount of water to oats, and then just soak them overnight and just put a lid on it to stop any like grass or any insects going and eating it. But then you've got a nice overnight oats in the morning, and I find they're really good for long days in the saddle. They slow release energy, and then you can add some like raisins or dried fruit or nuts or bananas or things like that. And I find that's sort of my perfect breakfast. And I have that when I'm at home as well, not just camping, but that's something that's really I find a good start to the day. And also that means you don't need to cook and get out, set up all the gas and everything like that. So yeah, that's my final tip I'm going to leave you with. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you found this useful, and any other tips or tricks that you have in terms of camping and your cooking setup. Happy adventuring!